Hello. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Antoinette.
Hello.
Today's my day off and it's so sunny. I think it's too sunny. Oh gosh. And I was practicing my yoga and I decided, why not show you how I started my yoga practice? So my yoga journey. So I'm gonna show you some 7 poses that got me started. So that's the tree pose, let me just grab my notes. So tree pose, standing forward fold, downward facing dog, the OG, the upward facing dog, child pose, cat and cow, and seating twisted pose. Wow, so many. So these 7 poses are the ones that actually kickstart my journey. So I wouldn't be where I am today without those poses. So I'm excited. Okay, I'll show you.
Okay, let's start. The first pose is the tree pose. I think it's called a tree pose because I look like a tree right now, like an acacia. Is that how I pronounce it? No? I like this pose because it calms my mind since I'm trying to balance myself. So grab your foot and put in your thigh. Don't put it in the knee though because it can make you wobbly, which won't make you stable. And if I want to challenge myself more, I put my foot into a half lotus position. It's like when you cross your legs when you sit down, and you do that for a couple of breaths. And honestly, by focusing on your breath, you're going to be able to hold your pose. Then let's try the other side. Grab your left foot and put in your thigh. You can use the wall too if you're having trouble balancing. Once you find your balance, you can try reaching up. Now, if you want more of a challenge, put your foot into half lotus position and pretend like you're Woody and
reach for the sky.
Don't forget to breathe, okay? Yay, good job. Grab your foot and put it down. Second pose will be standing forward fold. I like this pose because it stretches out my back and hamstrings, which is helpful after work. So you take a deep breath, bend from your hips, let your chest come to your thighs, and breathe out once you face your knees. Honestly, every time I wake up, my hamstrings and lower back is a bit tight, so let me show you a variation I do in the morning. I take a deep breath, bend from the hips and the knees, and let your chest come to your thighs, and over time, try to straighten out your legs. Sometimes it takes a while for the body to warm up. It might take just minutes for you, or days or weeks, and that's okay. We're not in a rush, like where are we going? Also, a lot of people think that this pose is all about touching your toes, but it's not. Wow, plot twist. I feel like the thing that I like about this pose is how much my back and hamstrings are stretched out, and I just focus on that. I couldn't touch my toes before, but I kept practicing it, and eventually I was able to touch them. So don't worry about touching your toes. It'll come over time, and if you don't, that's okay. Your hamstrings and back are still being stretched, and that's what matters. Third pose will be downward facing dog. Rewind to 2016, and this was the pose where I fell in love with yoga. I think it's because I learned the importance of coordinating your breaths with each movement with this pose. So, after standing forward fold, step your feet out until you feel like you're a triangle. Make sure you're activating your core and stretching out your shoulders, hamstrings, and calves. Try to focus on your breaths and how much it impacts the depth of your stretch. I also like to alternately bend my knees to feel more of the stretch in my hamstrings. I started yoga when my hamstrings were tight, so it was hard to flatten my feet, but over time with continuous practice, I was able to flatten my feet. Telling you friends, the more you practice, the more your body will slowly get used to it. Also, don't look like that. You gotta make sure that you activate your core and stretch out your shoulders, yeah? So activate them. Don't be lazy, girl. Fourth pose is the upward facing dog. This is kind of like the downward facing dog, but it plays more on your upper body strength, which I like because I used to neglect my upper body. So after downward dog, you kind of go into a push-up position and then you go down. Then flip your feet so the top of your feet are on the mat and then straighten your arms. You can also lower your legs to the mat if you feel like it's hard to lift both of your legs right now, and that's okay, girl. Progress is progress. Just love this stretch because it's a heart opener. And if you want to feel the stretch more, try looking up. Right? Feels so good. Fifth pose is the child pose. So after upward facing dog, I go into my fours and put my bum down to my feet. I like this pose because it's kind of like a resting pose, but at the same time stretching out my back, thighs, and ankles. Just make sure that you're not passively stretching. Make sure you still activate your muscles. To be honest, I'm not quite sure why it's called like that. Do I look like a child right now? Do I? Sixth pose is the cat-cow pose. I like this pose because it extends and flexes my back, which is good since I'm always standing at work. So on your fours, you take a deep breath and arch by dropping your belly like a cow mooing. Then breathe out and round your back like a cat purring. Allow your belly to sink in and make sure you have your shoulders away from your ears during cow pose. And make sure you look at your belly button to get that round back during cat pose. Oh, and one thing to not do when you do the cow pose is like arching your back like lots. Who are we trying to impress here? This is not a pop your booty pose, okay? So let's go back and pretend to be a cow. Last pose is a seated twisted pose. I like this pose because it involves a lot of twisting, so sometimes if I'm having trouble going number 2, I do this. There's actually 3 variations of this, and the first is from downward facing dog. Put your legs through your arms until you're sitting with your legs across. Bend your right leg and put your right foot inside of your left knee and take a breath in, right arm behind you, left elbow to the outside of your right knee, and breathe out when you twist. Feel more of the twist by looking back. Make sure your right hand is behind your right hip to really feel the twist. Then exit the pose one by one from how you got there. Second variation is when you put your right foot outside of your left knee and then take a deep breath in with your right arm behind you, left elbow to the outside of your right knee, and breathe out when you twist. Feel more of the twist by looking back. Yeah, girl, look back to it. And feel the twist in your belly, not your neck. Then exit the pose one by one from how you got there. The last variation is the same as the second variation, but you bend your left leg and tuck it into your right buttock. I know, there is a lot of twisting and bending to this one, and it's okay if you can't do it yet. With continuous practice, you'll be able to do it too. Take a breath in and put your right arm behind you, left elbow to the outside of your right knee, and then breathe out as you twist. Also, one thing about these poses, you don't want to just come out of it. You want to make sure that you do it step by step to how you got there. One time, a yoga teacher called me out in class for just coming out right away of one of the poses. Oops. Once you're out of the pose, always remember to do the other side too. Story time. I used to just stick to one side when I would do some stretches, like I would do a left split and not do the right split, and lo and behold, I got back pain on one side. That's why you can't be selfish. You have to be, you have to give equal love to both sides, and don't be like the past me, or else you can get back pain, or worse, you can get injured. So don't be like me, okay? Now that the flow is done, the last pose will be Savasana, which is when you actually just lie down. But not just, this is actually a very relaxing pose. One time I fell asleep and woke up with the next class coming in. Talk about awkward.
Perfect, that's it. Those are the 7 yoga poses that kickstarted my yoga journey. As long as you practice every day and be consistent, you'll be able to hold the pose a little bit longer or touch your toes, which is not the goal, but it'll be nice to, be able to touch your big toe. Thank you so much for watching my video, and let me know in the comments, or let me know, like text me, if you want to see more videos about yoga, or do you want to see more hiking, or do you want to see more vlogs of my life when I want my days off. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.